Hello everyone, I'm Jane from Trinergy. Today we're honored to have David Swenson with us. He has been practiced, trained, and taught yoga for decades. Welcome to Shanghai.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. 谢谢.
Many people think Ashtanga yoga is very strong and intense yoga style. But what's your definition of strength?
Okay, so here's the thing. You can make something very difficult or you can make it easier. When I teach yoga and when I practice, I try to be very efficient. So Ashtanga itself is just a tool. You can improperly use it and get hurt, or a teacher maybe is overzealous, or you can use it like a healing force. It's ultimately a therapeutic yoga. Yeah? So in order to practice and with strength doesn't mean this kind of strength. If you look at a flowing stream, it's beautiful, it's tranquil. You might even sit by this flowing water, but that's also power. If you go out into that water and you try to hold your arms out and stop the water, you cannot. Yeah? So you try to flow like a stream, move like water, focus more on the breath and energy.
Another question from the students of our Trinergy group is like in a busy city like Shanghai, people struggle to find time to do what they love.
Yeah.
Specifically for yoga, like it's hard to making time to practice every day. Even like doing 3 breaths on the mat can be challenging. And how do you find time to do what you love?
So I'll tell you a story. In the place where I live in the U.S., in Texas, Texas is known as a hot place, yeah, but it also gets cold in the winters. There's a natural spring where people swim and the water's very cold. There's a woman, she's been swimming there every day for 30 years. And the local newspaper, they interviewed her. They said, oh wow, why do you do it? She says, oh, I hate cold water. They said, what? Why do you do this if you don't like cold water? She goes, oh, every morning I sit in my car, I have the heater on, I have my bathrobe, I'm in there going, what was I thinking? They say, but then why do you do it? She says, because every day when I come out of that water, I feel so alive. If you know the result is going to be so beneficial, you have to create the time. Even if it's a little time. Commit 3 days a week, 10 minutes each day. Yeah? We can find a little time before you go to bed, or when you wake up, or on your lunch break, or there's a way to create a little moment. If you love doing something, you should be able to find some time for it. But I understand people are busy, they work very hard. The mistake that's made is people make too big of a commitment. That they make something unrealistic. I practice every day, 90 minutes a day. It's popular in a lot of yoga studios to say we give a 30-day challenge. I want to present the 30-year challenge. Figure out how you can practice even a few minutes a day. In Ashtanga, the minimum daily practice we say should be 3 Surya Namaskar A, 3 B, and the final 3 postures of closing sequence. Yeah? That might take 10 minutes. And even that 10 minutes, if we can create a little moment, you get amazing benefit. But it doesn't mean it's easy. Yeah? But many things of value in life are not easy.
On the other side, some people are very highly motivated. When teacher telling them, you should find a balance and be patient, but they just hear, oh, don't push yourself, go past your comfort zone.
I call these people the racehorse. They're like this, say one more. How do many successful people become successful? Like the business person. They work long hours, they push themselves. The athlete or the professional dancer, they push beyond the pain, they work very hard. The student who studies for days, the musician playing the violin or piano hours and hours, and they strive and they push and they become successful. So they come to do yoga. And you're right, we say be patient. I like to say the strongest tree in the forest grows the slowest. We give this advice. But for many people, they can't hear it. When we say there's no competition, yoga, it's a lifelong journey. All they heard is yoga, blah, 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 yoga, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe they hear us and they say, I don't know who you're talking about. That is not how I do things. That is not how I've become successful. I've become successful because I push. I will prove you wrong. How many of those postures are there? I'll learn faster than, and they push. So as a teacher, we can't fault them for this. This has been a formula for success in their life. But we have to explain, but in yoga, if you hurry, you get hurt, and then the yoga gets blamed. So you have to, as a teacher, be a little bit of a psychologist. How do you encourage the person who is very timid, but how do you keep the person safe that is very enthusiastic? So it's not easy, but as a teacher, we also have to be patient. We tell students all the time, be patient. But as a teacher with this situation, we have to be a little patient and understand, well, this person's been using this formula for decades. They won't change in a moment. So you give them a little time and they'll start to learn.
But do you agree sometimes the beautiful things come out from the extreme?
From the extreme. Well, but from extreme comes extreme also, right? If you do something extremely, you also risk getting hurt. It can be extremely good or extremely bad. Yeah? So you can push and you can make very rapid progress, but then you get hurt and your progress goes back. So you have to be careful. As humans, we like the extreme. We like this or this. Wow. We don't like the middle. Yeah? It's easier to live in extreme. Because what happens with the extreme approach to yoga? Like a shooting star, whoosh, a few months later, no more yoga. It's like if I do a marathon race in here in Shanghai, and they go, pow! In the first 10 meters, I'm racing, I'm winning the race. Look at that, I'm winning the marathon. Wow, David, you have 26 miles to go. So it's okay, you can do these things, but the danger is you make fast progress and then there's a problem, yeah?
Exactly. That's another thing, like stories about yoga injuries become so common nowadays. Like when would the teacher know what's the time to push a little bit harder and what's the time to stop? And I heard like a lot of the teachers, like they're so great teachers, because the moment they touch the student's body, they would know. They just like, it seems like they know better than the students themselves sometimes.
When I do teacher training courses, I describe a set of guidelines we need to follow, yeah, as an instructor. First I call the 0 to 10 rule. And that means 0 is the teacher hasn't touched the student yet. 10 is maximum pressure. Yeah? 0, 1, 2, 3, maybe I stop at 30%. What told me to stop is a good teacher, they're listening, you can hear the breath, you can hear the voice, you can feel the body resist, you can see their face or expressions. And this comes from practice. You know? And you're right, it's like if you've had massage therapists. How hard do you know to push a muscle? A good one knows how to move deeply, but with compassion that doesn't hurt the patient or client. Yeah? So the same like a teacher or a chiropractor. How do they know how far to go with your head? It's a lot of experience, but it's also treating people with respect, compassion, and understand that the real duty of the teacher is to serve the needs of the student, not to just be their master. Here's the problem I see. Too much power is given to the teacher. The student is relying on the teacher to tell them everything. A good teacher instructs the student on how to feel their body. If you teach in such a way that you instruct the student to feel, they won't ever get hurt. Because if something hurts, you don't go beyond. You know? And so this is important to learn how to feel your body, to really focus on the breath. If you focus on the breath, people don't get hurt. But if you teach people, look, it's okay, the yoga's here, you assimilate it like eating food. I tell people you should finish your yoga practice like finishing a meal. Just a little bit hungry for the next one, not like, oh, too much. You know? But teachers have a responsibility also to listen to their student, to let the student have a voice. It's okay for the student to say, no, I don't want an adjustment. Oh, that hurts. Yeah. The teacher has to respect the student, and the student has to respect the teacher. Yeah. But respecting the teacher doesn't mean you let them hurt you. Yeah. I believe that there's a difference between commanding respect and demanding respect. Demanding respect is a teacher or a person that says, you respect me because I'm this person. Commanding respect means you naturally respect this person because of the quality of their character. You know? So teachers need to learn how to have a character that is worthy of respect.
Yeah.
Teachers need to have an attitude of service and compassion and wanting to do something good for something. It's not right to think as a teacher, oh, they're so lucky to have me. Yeah. It's really the teacher's duty to feel like, wow, I am so lucky I get to share some information and to try to encourage and inspire this person.
That's amazing. And also another question came from teachers of our Trinergy group, where they try to develop a better sense of being strict to follow traditions, also being lenient and adaptable. Sometimes we feel like they want to help students to use alternative poses, but they feel not comfortable or not confident to go beyond the traditions. As a teacher trainer, what's your advice for them?
Everyone is using an alternative. If you take 20 people and you tell them all to do the same posture, they all do different. So a good teacher understands how do you apply the yoga to the need of the individual. You administer yoga like medicine. If I'm a doctor, I give the same prescription to every patient, the same amount. What will happen? You look at the results after 2 years, what will you see? Sometimes I was lucky. I gave the right thing. Some people, they overdose. Other people, it was not enough. This is teaching yoga. If you teach everyone the same, you'll only teach to one narrow bunch of people, the ones that's just the right way for them. A good teacher understands how to apply the yoga to the needs of the individual. Yeah? It's very easy to teach everyone the same, but the results will not be so good. So when you look at a tradition or being traditional, it's presenting the yoga in a compassionate way. Is yoga only for people with 2 arms, 2 legs, and a strong, healthy body? If it is it yoga? Or is it now fitness just for elite people? What will the teacher do when a student comes with 1 leg, or 1 arm, or they cannot see? Severe arthritis. I've had all of these people in my classes. I watched Patabi Joyce teach a quadriplegic boy. He could only move his head. Patabi Joyce put him in the shape of an asana, would hold him there and have him breathe. So don't feel bad about offering modification. Otherwise, what you're doing is just creating an elite thing. Are circus people the great yogis because they could do any asana? Is okay. Serve the needs of the student. It's possible to do that and honor the tradition. Yeah? You can understand what is the essence of the tradition and how do you convey that. Teaching yoga is not so easy. Yeah? It's not just barking out orders. It's not just squishing people down. You have to see the big picture. How will you convey the essence? The main duties of a teacher is to encourage, to inspire, and to facilitate the practice. Yeah? To give the student a tool that they can use and utilize so that they can become a better person. Someone once asked, when do I know I'm ready to teach? I live my life following my dreams.